8:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific. For about an hour or 90 minutes each day. We do 3 gun-related topics, different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the live comments from everybody that's watching the show live. Then after once in a while, we'll take the audio and we'll post those as podcasts up on iTunes. So we encourage everybody that's listening to the show now or in the future, give us some feedback on whatever platform it is you might be listening to us on. We do appreciate that favor. That lets us know where you are. We hope it helps recommend more people to the show. And that's one of our goals, is to grow the listenership. So we do appreciate that favor. As for hosts, we're all here today. We got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
And that brings us to Dano in Illinois. Thanks for jumping in.
Yep, glad I could make it.
And we got Smeggy up in Michigan.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
Not bad. I'm down here in Arizona, and today is a Thursday, so we'll be talking about gun stuff, our kind of a general topic. And today the topic is, what's the dumbest thing you've ever did with a gun? Training is our second topic, and we'll be talking about taking a class twice with a bunch of question marks. And then on Thursdays, we take our third segment of the show, and we talk about all the various shooting events that are coming up around the country. So this is episode 329. Of course, we'll be doing all of our other stuff, our gun shop of the day and the gun of the day and everything else. But before we dig into the show, we usually take a break right at the beginning like this, see if anything happened overnight or if there's anything worth talking about.
I got something. I don't know if it was necessarily overnight. It might have been the day before, but I don't think I've mentioned it yet. Constitutional carry for Michigan has passed one of the committees or whatever, and is going forward for a main vote in. I think it's in the Senate, and then it goes over to the other one or whatever. But it's a step closer now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right on.
So we'll see what happens. I'll obviously be keeping an eye on that, but I'm pretty sure that just happened recently.
That would be nice. Yeah. Well, there's good chat last night. We had good shows last night.
Over Matt's chat, you mean?
Oh, yeah. I had fun anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish it would have kind of went a little different way, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I think my team still won, so that's fine.
Oh, not a chance.
We won't rehash that now.
This team had a couple of different people on the panel, so he had us draw up teams or pick teams and then debate the AR-15 versus AK-47, which is, obviously been addressed before, but it's nice to touch on it every once in a while, and different players have different perspectives on it.
Yeah, I just kind of wish the thing was back to the original premise was all like, new person wants to buy a gun. They say, oh, I'm going to get something. What should I get? And then you're trying to help them figure out, do they want an AK or do they want an AR? And instead we kind of just battled on what military uses what and blah, blah, blah. Like there was a lot of, I don't know, I think stuff that doesn't really matter for regular people.
To me, it came down to which is a better gun, which, that's not even really bears discussion. But
well, obviously the AR is better, but yeah. And we don't need to get all into that now. I'm sorry. I'm just poking the bear here.
Oh, no shit.
I'll let it slide. It's just that for people who haven't seen it, I was on the AR team and Dano and G-Wubs was on the AK team. So we just have a little rivalry going on between friends.
I wasn't even there.
I think Smeggy gets us confused because we're both old and, he's a kid, so we all look alike to him.
I mean,
no, I don't get you confused.
How can
I remember who my dad is.
I wasn't there.
Are you saying something down?
I heard him. He was saying, I wasn't even there.
Yeah, I said, how could I have been on the AK team if I wasn't even there?
Well, since I didn't say you were on the AK team, that's probably how. I said Bob and G-Webs.
Unless there's a different Dano.
I don't think I said
said-
Dano.
Yeah,
If
you
I did,
yeah.
whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm
If
gonna
I
say,
did, I was mistaken, but I don't think I did.
I'm gonna
I said Bob and G-Webs.
suggest we dig into the show then.
Let's
So,
dig.
Let's go.
Our first topic is gun stuff, our general topic for the week, and today it is what's the dumbest thing you ever did with a gun? Where do we want to go with that one?
I'll start. I have no shame. I took a 223 round, which is a steel case, gray bullet, inadvertently put it into my AK-47 magazine, and then went to fire it. Of course, it didn't want to fit all the way into battery. It was not quite right, but fired it anyway, out of battery, and luckily did not get hurt. But in fact, at the time, I still have pictures of it somewhere, but it was quite the surprise when it went off.
That would be.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever done that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I remember that. You were showing pictures of the case all blown out and everything.
Yep. Kind of shredded the steel case.
Well, yeah, because it had room to expand and everything, because it wasn't being held in by anything.
Right.
If I remember correctly, though, you didn't
Stupid,
damage.
but that one by far takes the cake.
And so you didn't damage the firearm though with that, did you? If I remember correctly.
No, there was no damage to the firearm. I've since fired it many times, and it's fine.
Of course, he didn't damage an AK-47. They're in the
Oh, Jesus.
so T-23 gopher round going off out of battery. He's not even going to make a mark on it. Well, I'll go next because I once blew the front window out of my brother's mobile home with a 20 gauge shotgun. And that was the dumbest thing I've ever done. It actually made me not touch a gun for over a year. It just freaked me right out. And it was just pure stupidity on my part. So,
Now, were you on the inside or the outside when this happened?
oh no, I was on the inside of the trailer. That's how I know how loud shotguns are indoors. They're really loud.
Were you just playing with it and didn't realize it was loaded, or like what happened? Obviously, some type of like negligent discharge.
It was a negligent discharge, but it was completely my fault. I was having trouble with the ejector on it. It was sticking, so I cleaned it. Then I was testing it with a shell, and then at some point I'm talking to my buddy, and I put the shell, like, close the shotgun, and I'm swinging it around, looking around the living room, kind of pointing it at the cats and everything else. And then I just kind of pointed at the window and pulled the trigger. And be damned if it didn't go off because I had a live round in it. So, yeah, luckily it wasn't pointing at one of the cats at that moment. But, yeah, it blew the whole front picture window out of the trailer. My brother he's still pissed off at me about that.
Windows are far easier to replace than living things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I had to run to the window and make sure some little kid hadn't been walking by, but hardly anything penetrated the window by the time it went through a pair of blue jeans that was sitting on the back of the couch and the drapes and everything. It just broke the glass. So nobody in the neighborhood. Yeah, it was just birdshot.
Now, aren't you, if I remember from many chats ago, an advocate of birdshot for home defense?
Oh, yeah, and it would have worked just fine because the pattern was pretty tight when I hit those blue jeans, and it was like from halfway across the trailer, so a good 25 feet. And that pattern was no bigger than a softball. And
yet it just cracked the window frame, the window itself.
Yeah, but that was after it shredded through a pair of blue jeans that was laying on the back of the couch folded up. So it went through like 8 layers of denim and a set of drapes. Now, if you know about hanging cloth, is actually really good. Like if you've got a blanket, that'll stop an arrow because it allows it to move with it. Well, it does the same thing with birdshot.
Is that why the Indians use so many blankets?
Oh, of course.
Okay, move along.
I think it's your turn, Smeggy.
This is confession time.
Yeah, and I was racking my brain about this. I really don't know. Like, I've never had a negligent discharge. I've never loaded up the wrong ammo. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what the dumbest thing I've done with a firearm before.
I mean, sometimes it could be as simple as you thought you had cleared a firearm, and then all of a sudden you went to double check it, and you said, "Holy shit, there was still a round in it." It's not that anything happened. It's just you were under one impression that was clearly not true.
Yeah, I haven't done that either. I'm pretty safe with my firearms. Yeah, I mean that's true. I haven't messed around with guns for that long. My dad always had guns when I was a kid, but I always learned, only use it when you're going to the range or up north or whatever, and I always follow all the safety rules and stuff. Yeah, I can't think of anything really. I really was trying, but I'm just pretty awesome. So
Well, just anything in general life. Have you ever had made other big life-changing mistakes? Come on, confession time.
well, I've definitely made some personal mistakes, sure, but not ones that I'm comfortable sharing with
the
on
world.
The internet.
The thousands upon thousands of viewers we have every day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least the ones
Some
that
of
are
the
going
mistakes might come back and call me daddy, so
Yeah, and you don't want all the guys that are going to be in the chat with you later bringing it up.
All right, Mr. Gun Websites, it's time to belly up to the bar of truth and let it out.
I didn't agree to this topic, so I'm going to say that we've had
bullshit.
What? So we probably
You're
had
the one that brought up the topic. I didn't agree with. Blah, 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 blah.
We can have it on the schedule. Doesn't mean we all got to participate in everything. I'm going to say we have probably all have had much more stupid or dumb things we've done with vehicles or with knives or with everything else. I just don't see this as a useful topic. So, I'm trying to be safe. So
it's not even a useful topic.
I don't know how.
Why did it ever make it to the schedule if you felt that it wasn't even a useful topic?
It's not my show. It's everybody's show.
Okay, who typed it in there? Who copied and pasted it?
Oh, what? Just let it go, Dad.
Who?
We schedule our show on the second Saturday of the month.
So if somebody said jump off a bridge, would you type it in there?
Yeah. We can talk about jumping off bridges. Good idea, bad idea, bungee jumping.
Yeah. Going along.
That's the power we give the Patreons. They come up with a topic, whether we like it or not. We end up talking about it.
Yeah, if it's mainline to the thing. So if we're going to talk about jumping off a bridge, we can talk about universal background checks and being before that. Sure.
Now, if you're trying to maintain image, I guess I kind of get it. You can't quite. You're not up with the truth thing. I get you.
I think we all have a different perception of what's the dumbest thing. When I first thought of this topic, I thought about guns that I had sold, and I was thinking about guns that I might have sold that was not a good idea.
Okay,
that counts. Little 22 single-shot knife. That's a gun and a knife. I got rid of that like an idiot. Probably would have been worth a lot of money, and it would have been fun to have. But like later on doing YouTube videos and stuff. But
that counts.
I guess that would be the kind of stuff that came to my mind. But there's a lot of those, and on the other hand, it's not like I had a different life because of it or anything. They're just guns. So we have to be aware of them, but I don't think anybody sits around going, "What's the dumbest?" Well, maybe that's not true. I was gonna say nobody sits around saying, "What's the dumbest thing you ever did in an automobile?" But I don't know. That's more of a conversation I'm gonna have with friends sitting around at a bar than on a internet podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I thought. Never mind. Let's roll.
So we had a couple of people chiming in from the chat. Draw practice, like not quite exactly what Bob was talking about, but someone experienced the gunshot going off in the house. I'm sure that happens more often than people want to talk about. And then selling that same gun. Yeah, it's always tough to go back and look at those decisions that you didn't have to make out of desperation. You know, having to pay a bill is one thing, but when you're like, well, I don't really like this one, and I kind of like this new one. Grass is greener. Let's trade them out. Get it done sooner than later. I can always go back and buy this gun, and then you have remorse. Those kind of things can suck because you can't always get a gun back like you think you can.
Do that.
All right. Well, nobody else really chimed in with theirs either, so we'll keep moving, and we can talk about training, I guess, next. We're talking about taking the training class for a second time, taking the training class twice. Before we get into that, though, we always take a break between the first and second segments of the shows every day to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place we built a while back. It's a community. It's focused on firearms, completely driven by its members, supported by its members, and maintained by its members. For that reason, I like to feature one of them every day. And this week, today, it's ThePants, or we always call them Pants. One of the active participants over there in the chats. And again, one of the reasons we built Gun Channels.
Yeah, I like Pants. He always has something to chime in on. He seems to be around quite a bit. I remember him from the YouTube side for a while, and then he finally jumped over to Gun Channels.
Now, is he making videos? Because one of the things we want to do when we're featuring members over on Gun Channels is if they're doing some kind of content, we want to feature that. So I should have mentioned that we do always put a link to the members if they have a YouTube page that I'm aware of, at least when I'm filling out the schedule. I link that, and then of course their Gun Channels page as well. So if you're a listener and you want to friend that person or go like whatever channels they're creating, feel free. But was he creating videos or just using the YouTube account to communicate in the chats?
Yeah, I just remember him from commenting on YouTube.
Right on.
But he might have stuff up.
Yeah, he's definitely very active in the text chats over on Gun Channels.
Need to one day, I don't know if anybody's ever asked why the screen name. I wonder if there's a story behind that. Maybe he sells slacks or trousers for a living. Big advocate of the two-legged clothing.
Yeah, could be. Maybe he just likes the name. Some people get
maybe he'll answer over there. Maybe he won't, but he's over there, so to see that. But let's move on then to
I don't make.
What?
He says, I don't make videos.
I guess that's videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get into training. Taking a training class twice. I'm a big advocate of it. What about you guys?
I think there are certain classes that fall into that category. There are probably many classes that don't. It's hard to say what the percentage of it is. An example would be fighting pistol. When I was down there were just over 30 people in my class. 6 of those people had already taken fighting pistol previously. Several of those people had taken it more than once previously. So I think that's an example of that sort of class. Also, another type of class that I say fits in that same sort of category would be a Masad Ayub class, because the information is coming out so fast, there's no way you can possibly absorb it or comprehend it in just one sitting or one presentation. And I'm sure there are others as well. Those are just simply 2 examples.
Yeah, good point, Daniel. Yeah, I agree. I don't have a problem with taking the class twice, as long as it's not because I failed the first one.
Yeah, you'll know if you had information overload or not, and whether it was information worth getting.
Yeah, but the idea, I think that one of the big ideas about taking a class twice is it's like a refresher. You know, you take a class, you get a lot out of it. But then, you know, as time goes by, you may, you know, forget some of it, or you may pick up some bad habits on the way or something. So taking a class twice, it's like refreshing everything. It's going to reinforce everything. So I think it's a good idea.
You know, one of the things with the class is you know, it depends on the other students and everything, right? Like a lot of times there's questions and answer parts or whatever. And when you go back to even taking the exact same class with different people, they might bring up something that you never even thought of the first time you took the class. You know, someone goes, oh, what about this other thingy? And you're like, oh, I never even thought of that. Yeah, that I have that question also.
Yeah, that was absolutely true. I mean, well, again, because it's my most recent class, the one down in at Tactical Response, is with 30 other people listening and trying to comprehend the same points. Is when we went to the Q&A section, people did exactly what you said. They had questions. It's like, I never thought of it that way. That's a good question. You know, I wonder what the answer is. And I found that, you know, very helpful to have more people thinking about the exact same information just to verify, oh yeah, I did understand it correctly, or maybe I thought I understood it and I really didn't, and now I have a clarification, you know, before the class is over.
Yeah, good point, Daniel.
And as I mentioned before, you know, the other aspect is, especially with Masad Ayub, I found that very much apropos as far as the saying of like drinking information out of a fire hose. That's very true when taking one of his classes.
Yeah.
Is, you know, he's going at almost a nonstop. It's not that he's saying it quickly. It's so much information, solid information, and he's citing sources, scientific sources along the way in regards to different aspects of human behavior, like the startle response. In regards to why do you keep your finger off the trigger? Because the natural human body's response to shock is to be startled, is to clench your fists. And when you clench your fist, that also includes pulling your index finger towards you when you're startled. I mean, but he goes through all the details of that as to why we are so intent on some of those rules. There are scientific reasons behind them. And the startle response is the one for rule number 1, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to use it. Because if you get startled, even in a practice session, you're going to pull that trigger.
Yep.
So I know G-Web's had to step away for a moment.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back. All right. Yeah, we were just talking about the startle response in regards to why people are supposed to keep their finger off the trigger. I'm not sure if you heard that or not.
Right on. So we're talking about taking the training class again.
Yes.
I think from what I overheard you guys saying, I agree with everything. I like to think we're talking to a lot of people, especially on gun channels, that are creating their own content, that are either already or in the midst of creating a channel of your own. You're going to have somebody in your area that offers CCW classes or NRA classes or something, and offering them some coverage is an excellent way to get into those classes for free, and that gives you a chance to experience a lot of classes. And I think Daniel said you can hear the other other students, or was that Smeggy? You can take the same class 4 or 5 times, and you're gonna always, the one difference is going to be the questions that come through. And if you get a good instructor like Masad Ayub or Jaeger, or somebody who really has had a lot of experience answering questions from students, it's really an experience to, I don't know, it's like seeing a concert with a good musician over and over. You know, each one is a little bit different. You get some different nuance, and like I say, if you've got someplace local, then, and you're creating content, see if you can't work out some kind of deal. Take their class once a month, once every couple of months or something, and you know, just in return for being able to sit through the class, review it and let people know it's out there, and you're going to be doing them a service, and you'll be learning a lot. So that's a way to take it free. If you've already taken a class, most instructors, not most, but a lot of instructors will let you audit a class after. So if you can take the same class again without wasting their time with the, like maybe the drills or the, what do you call them, like the qualifications or something, anything that takes their time, and then maybe you don't expect a certificate every time you take it or something, then a lot of instructors will be happy to let you sit through, maybe for a small fee or something, depending on what you're going to use as far as their instructor's time. But that's an excellent way, once you've already completed a course, to be able to see it again and again through that different classroom's eyes. On the YouTube side, Will saying I take the same class twice, but not from the same instructor, and that's something I also advocate highly. Just as not so much as somebody necessarily who's just creating content, although it works great for somebody who's creating content, but just as an individual who wants to know the laws, I take an Arizona CCW class as often as I can, and I'll take it with any instructor I can, because that gives me the experience seeing what that instructor's like, what that facility is like. Sometimes it's in a new shop or in a new place that I haven't seen before, at a new range or something. And then of course the students are always different, but yeah, they're all going to have a bit different curriculum. My experiences with the Arizona ones, I haven't taken out-of-state ones from multiple sources yet, but the Arizona one is an interesting one too, because now that we have, well, I did most of my reviews before while it was still an 8-hour class, and it was up to the instructor to fill the class. And that's where it was interesting, because some of them would fill it with life experience, some of them would fill it with the class's stories, or create an environment in the classroom where classes questions filled a bunch of the 8 hours. Very interesting to see the same course, same content at least, offered by different instructors for sure. And again, if it's too expensive to take them over and over, consider auditing them. It's another reason to have a YouTube channel, so that you can do stuff like that. You can go to a gun shop and hang out and get a favor or something in return for some help with them advertising their thing or getting their word out. And most instructors don't have budgets for advertising, so they're more than happy to have somebody sit in if you can help them get the word out.
And another aspect is not all, but some instructors, if you take their class, may actually offer a DVD version of that class for people that have taken it. And if nothing else, just simply as a reminder for something that you may not have written down, or maybe you wrote it down, but you explained it a little bit differently than the way it was intended. That's a very inexpensive way to make sure that you're still understanding what you were taught the way you were taught it.
So I don't know, Smeggy, you haven't really chimed yet. What do you think of taking a course twice?
Oh, I thought it was a good idea. And that's how I was the one that brought up the different students and whatnot. So,
Okay,
but I like G-Web's point of view as far as, maybe saving a little bit of money if you can audit them or whatever, because, yeah, it does add up pretty quickly if you start taking a bunch of classes all the time. So I really like that idea.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And, that's why, if you cannot attend a class, and only truly in your heart, if you truly cannot attend a class, a DVD from a solid source is better than absolutely nothing.
Oh, hold on.
In fact, that's almost a word-by-word quote from James, the Tactical Response. He says, if somebody's going to do nothing else and they just cannot get to a class, better solid information from a solid source than absolutely nothing at all, or just rumors from their beer drinking friends.
So now William is saying, I think it's also a good idea to take a comparable local class before you take a national class, to be familiar with the topic and not be overwhelmed. I can't disagree more with that one. I haven't seen enough local classes that excel. I've seen so many weird ones all at the local level, or the weird ones I've seen all seem to be at the local level. So I don't know if I can agree with that one, unless you happen to have one that is decent, but I don't know how you'd know if you're just getting into it. I highly recommend Masada Ayub or Tactical Response, and everything else you take, you can compare to that.
Well, there's definitely going to be a huge variation at the local end, because there's thousands and thousands of local instructors. So there's going to be a huge variation.
Yeah, exactly.
Some good, some really bad.
You could have a really bad instructor have a whole bunch of students who have no other experience claim that he's the best instructor they've ever had, because he technically is. No. How do you know? So I think by numbers and time on the clock, and that's where those guys are well established.
And indirectly, I would say, how do you know? Well, why would somebody go back to the same instructor if it was a crappy class?
Because it was so crappy, they forgot half of it. No.
I mean, that's kind of the proof in the pudding that people are willing to put down their own money and go back again.
So Cycle added, I like the idea of keeping money local too. I don't know how an instructor could come in from out of state and not keep almost all the money local, at least a whole chunk of it local, because the range is a big chunk of the cost, and the educate instructors, if they cost something, of course, lodging, unless they stay in somebody's house or something as a guest, they're going to be in a hotel, they're eating, so you're bringing some money there. And so you're actually bringing some money in that way that maybe would offset what an instructor might get as far as a salary or whatever. And those students are all local usually. Not always, I guess that's not true. But yeah, I don't think I'd sacrifice good content for cost. You can definitely get local training cheaper, and you're right, it will keep, I guess, more of the money local. But I wouldn't be too concerned that it's all being taken away to overseas or anything. If anything, it's going to Tennessee or Florida. And both of those guys put most of their money right back into the industry.
Yeah, or Texas or Oregon or.
Al saying our CCW class, our local class was great. First day psychology, etc., stance, grip, weapon function, dry fire, all the stuff you don't get with a standard beginners CCW class. Then the second day was regulations, written exam, and qualification. I don't know what state's Al in. Connecticut? Pants is saying
Right. Anything else on this particular topic?
All right, so no, I guess we can start talking about, I don't know, jackets or winter coats.
Sometimes the transition is so clumsy, I almost don't even know what to do.
Well, let's.
The Tactical Pop Quiz is coming! The Tactical Pop Quiz is coming! Run for your lives! That's right. It's time for the Tactical Pop Quiz of the day. So those of you over on YouTube and those of you over on Gun Channels, put your cursor down in the text box, limber up your fingers. Mr. Smeggy, have you seen the answer supplied, and are you available to help out today?
I am ready, willing, and able to perform my duties.
Excellent. Today's question was sent in by Angry American, so thank you, Angry, once again. And again, if you have questions you would like to submit and help us out on the Tactical Pop Quiz of the day, please send them to dailygunshow@gmail.com. And in the subject line, just put pop quiz, and down below, just put your questions, your answers, and where you found the answer from. Once again, send that to dailygunshow@gmail.com. So today's question, sent in by Angry. What firearm was used in the assassination attempt of Pope John Paul? What firearm was used in the assassination attempt of Pope John Paul?
I've seen a lot of answers, but none of them right.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why there's dates being typed in there.
What?
Yeah. Not in 1911.
Huh. Nobody knows.
Come on, peoples.
Ah!
Yeah.
Over on Gun Channel, we have a winner, the Browning High Power by Chris. Congratulations, Chris. Go ahead.
I don't think it could have been a real assassination attempt because he didn't
Here
die.
we go. Here we go.
And if he was using the high power, he should have died. I mean, unless the guy was just a total doofus.
Yeah. So, Chris, congratulations. You are today's Tactical Pop Quiz winner. If you could go over to dailygunshow.com/pop quiz and fill out the form so we can keep track of those that are winning. And congratulations, Chris.
Yep. Chris, by naming Bob's absolute most favorite gun ever, that makes you today's tactical hot shot of the day.
Good
Are you
job.
okay? Are you okay, Smeggy?
I'm golden.
Oh, okay.
I just like how everyone says, "Oh, you better go get him ice," or "You heard us throw it on that one." About so I just like pushing it up to prove that I can do even more.
Oh, you're like one of those
Well,
heavy
good
metal
work there,
singers,
Smeg.
just just raw.
I'm going to go
like-
ahead and take advantage of this point to dig in another section, tactical tidbits. Go ahead and get it out, Bob.
It's not funny when you call it out.
Yeah, really, it's
Oh, well.
just kind of getting old now, Dano. Really, I mean, get over it.
Well, actually, I do it so you won't interrupt me. But now that you're done, we are number 17 of 17 of gunfighting rules from tactical response. I'm going to mute you, Bob, if you keep going.
Never mind.
Okay, this is the last one. Then after today, we're going to take a little break on the tactical response fighting pistol review, and we'll pick it up again next week with a new theme. But today is number 17, and that is your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ceases. I'm sure anybody who's heard the tactical response videos has heard that a million times, as that's the tagline that he exits his videos every time.
Well, he says never ends, so you kind of threw me off when you said ceases. Same idea, but that kind of threw me off.
Literally, I know he says ends, but in the book it's written ceases. But either way, same thing. Smith's my.
Just
I just grabbed my mouse.
That's a good point. I mean, that makes perfect sense. I don't disagree with his tactical your tactical tidbit. Well, I guess they're his actually, but no, I don't disagree with him. I still think the name's funny as hell, but.
Well, I mean, if we just kind of dissect it a little bit, your responsibility, meaning it's my responsibility to defend myself. I don't expect the police to. I don't expect someone else to. That's my responsibility. And
yeah, and
that,
15 minutes after you call them, so I mean, it's pretty late to defend. They're just there to clean up.
Correct, and it's also my responsibility to make myself ready, both in mindset, skill, and abilities.
That's right.
And physically.
It's mostly mindset, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you have difficulty getting out of a chair, you've got several things you need to work on. It's not just how to draw your pistol. That's part of it, but that's not all of it.
You can get a power lift chair now, Nano. It'll stand you right up. You probably already have one.
Yeah, well, that's not going to help you when you're going down the alley on your little scooter, and somebody knocks you down to the ground.
Well, that's why you have the power lift seat in the scooter.
Yeah, that's not going to do you any good because you're not going to be in the scooter.
Yeah, but you're going to be
You're going to be half conscious on the ground,
man.
busy playing the role of a victim.
Scooters are quiet, plus you got mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we're talking about scooters now, but yeah, and I think I like the way that it's phrased too, right? Because like your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends. It's not just you have that responsibility to be ready, like as far as every day you have to be ready, but it also kind of implies like your responsibility to always be training or always keeping up on stuff, like that never ends. There's always something to get ready for.
Yeah. Being ready for your defense isn't just when you go to the, I'm not doing air quotes, bad neighborhood. If you have a carry permit, you should be carrying all the time. Because bad things happen in good neighborhoods. Bad things happen everywhere. I mean, just not in the bad neighborhoods.
No. If you're in a gun-free zone, you're completely safe because that means there's no guns there.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. I would say there are guns there. It's just they're by people that have decided not to follow the law.
But that would be illegal.
And that could be law-abiding citizens who have decided to disarm, or law-abiding citizens that have decided to carry regardless of the consequences because they'd rather be alive than dead. And where are you not more vulnerable than when you're in a hospital?
Better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6.
So I see Gun Websites has his patch panel out there. What do you got up there for us?
Well, we're going to be doing the patch panel stories, so letting people know, pick a patch, and then we'll
Excellent.
We'll tell you the story of it.
Are we going to go with the audience picking one, or?
Yeah. So far, Al requested the Every Second Matters one, so that's the only person that suggested one yet. So I guess we'll go with that one.
Is that even one on there? Where is it?
It is not on there, so you cannot tell that one.
Well, I was gonna say, how can we've never announced it? How can anybody have suggested anything before we did?
Because he put it in the chat. He typed it.
Using the interactive features of this new media that we're using.
Yeah. You know, Dano, like people can see what we're sharing. They can hear us too.
Yeah, I'm just. Did you do it on the YouTube side?
Yeah, he did it on both.
All right, so now we have two of them. The first Glocktober one, which is not on here either. And then
the pumpkin one's on there though, right?
Right. But it says one Glocktober, so I don't know if he's just saying Glocktober. And then the Skull and Wrench. So we'll do both of those since we got one from each side. So the Skull and Wrench, I don't know the story behind it. It must have mean something, but it might just be a gear thing. Actually, you can go look. It's from Spec Monkey. Spec Monkey is probably the origin of the whole morale patch panel thing.
Copyright.
What do you mean?
Remember Morale Patch got trademarked or whatever back in the day?
I don't believe in all that, so they can come sue me. Yeah, exactly. So let's see. So let's find the store, and we'll find that patch. Patches. Would you call that animal? It does have a skull on it.
I don't think
Well,
it's called an animal.
Some of his patches will have a story of them on there. Is that it? No, that's a dog one. So what do you think it might be? Utilitarian?
Is it a skull to the wrench or a wrench to the skull, or is it just a skull with two crossed wrenches that looks like the skull and crossbones from the pirate flag?
Yeah, it's more like a wrench. It's different than all that stuff you just said.
It's like a skull and crossbones, but the skull is kind of like a gear, and then the crossbones are just like wrenches. So it's like a pirate mechanic or something.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of a pirate mechanic.
Maybe
It might be a rare.
Maybe it's one of those super rare ones. Hey.
So anyway, the other one that was the Glocktober one. The Glocktober was a thing we came up with, 2014, I think, to basically just do something in Glocktober or October. And it was something that a couple of people had used a few times on the internet, but I think we started it up in chat one night, right? Said it was funny or whatever. So basically went and made up a, I don't know what order we did anymore. I think I made up a website or something, and then I asked Glock if it was cool to use Glocktober so we didn't get in trouble. And they said sure, and then they went ahead and sent a whole bunch of swag. So that first year we had, here we go, Death Mechanic, it's called. Kind of a generalist design. The hope is the mechanics and engine. Okay, kind of a generalist design. The hope is mechanics and engineers may enjoy, or just people that fix things to death. So it's called Death Mechanic. That's that one. And this is a sewn tan and brown one, as opposed to this yellow and whatever PVC one. Anyway, then the Glocktober was that first year. We did a bunch of patches, and I think we did them throughout the month, and they got sewn poorly and didn't come out until November or something in the end. But we ended up sending out those packages and everything with a bunch of Glock swag. What do? We got 100 Glock boxes, like Glock swag kits of everything from like catalogs and patches and stickers and notebooks to all that stuff plus shirts and bags. They basically sent me everything in their almost everything in their product line, like one of, and then a whole bunch of patches and stuff. So we had enough stuff to do 100 shipments, and then we got some sponsors on board to pay for the shipping, which was good. And then we did a Kickstarter, I think, or an Indiegogo or something, and did the patches. And it all came together in November. Of course, we did it too late. And then next year, we tried to start it much earlier. The patches took forever, and we got the patches right during the month, I think, right before the end of the month. And then this last year, we did the patches early enough that we had them for October. And this year, hopefully, we'll get them going again here soon so that they're ready for October as well, if we do it again. But yeah, that's what it is. And we have October 3 up here. I don't think we even have a October 2. That was the like German beer girl, except using Glocks with extendos. So that was a couple of stories from the patch panel. Every once in a while, once a week, we like to look at the patch panel and post it there and let people ask questions about it. And we have a second ulterior motive for it today. Where did I put it? We have our, oops, I better go back to the main page. We have our Patreon supporters over on Patreon. And just say thanks. Oh, well, we had an extra, we were up to like $90-something. I think we lost some money again. So we went up past $90 for a second there. All right, let me refresh. Maybe it's just not refreshed. Nope, looks like we lost a couple of bucks again. So we gained a supporter, and then we lost a supporter. So kind of jumping along there. But one of the things we do at the $3 level is you'll have a chance to win a random patch. So I'm going to put this over here so nobody sees everybody's names. And I'm going to go down to the Patreon thing so we can see a list of all those people that are putting in the $3 towards the show. And then it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. So we'll go to random.org. Am I still screen sharing okay?
Yeah, we see you.
Yeah. No names.
I just went to random.org. How about that? And what did it just say? We need 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
So
my favorite website.
Next, somebody who's not involved. So Bob, from the top or from the bottom? Will I be counting from the top or the bottom when this number comes up? Bob still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
It's hard to tell.
From the top.
From the top. Okay. So
Even when he's here, it's
six.
questionable.
6th one down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is Mr. Wright. If Mr. Wright is out there, you are the winner. Otherwise, I will send a message to you here and say you won the patch. Is he out there?
I don't see him.
Thank you for the support.
I'm just thinking if he's out there, then we can grab the patch for him right away.
I just want to say, well, while we have a chance, Dano.
Yeah.
Kiss my.
Well, then that was kind of hostile.
What?
Wow.
Oh, you didn't get the rest of it? Oh, never mind.
I just said it was hostile. That's all.
No.
Right out there.
Bob's here. We don't know
I
if he's
have
here.
not seen Mr. Wright. He's not on gun channels, and I haven't seen him say anything on YouTube.
Okay.
Correct, sir.
Well, all right. Well, we let him know in the message, so I guess he'll know that way. But what we have is a little bit something extra special this time around. You see all these patches on this patch panel. They're adhered with a thing called Velcro. It was invented by aliens, and they say that the space program brought it down from space. So it's pretty handy, and it allows you to attach a piece of plastic or fabric like we've got here to a soft piece of fabric in a type of a closure that has a unique property in that we can hide something behind these patches. What it is we hide is not known, so you don't know what size it might be or what shape it might be. But when we do these random patches of months, in order to give it another level of interest, we've hidden something behind there. So ideally we'll have the drawings and people will be live and be able to peel that patch off live. But what we'll do is a version of that whenever we get word back from Mr. Wright. I won't move the item and we'll see which one he picks, and then we'll peel it off live and see if there is something hidden behind that or not.
Ooh, could be like $1,000 bill for all we know.
Yeah, there's a real good chance of that. Or something else that could be that small.
And
I
that,
sense a sticker.
what is the significance of having the item behind that? Did you mention?
Is there?
Because it's hidden, Maggie. It's hidden that way.
Oh, okay.
No, am I forgetting something?
Is it
No, I
leading
was
to
just-
something else?
Yeah. I guess never mind.
Well, if you want to remind me the site, because I guess I forgot. But that's
Yeah.
All right. Well, so anyway, that's the little thing we're going to start doing, and we'll see how that goes. So again, we're trying to keep this interactive thing going, trying to thank the people that are watching us live. And I know not everybody can watch us live all the time, but you never know who's going to win a random thing, right? Oh, well, let's cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, why not, right? So with that, why don't we do the gun shop of the day? And here I'm changing. Am I still screen sharing? That works out. I don't know.
No, you stop.
We're going to change things up a little bit. I just noticed that the gun shop of the day was also submitted by Rick, who submitted the the shop yesterday. So instead of doing 2 Rhode Islands in a row, I figured I'd do this Angry American one and then I just switched it with yesterday or tomorrow. So we'll do Rick's tomorrow. So although it says something different in the notes, it'll be we're going to be talking about roll call guns. Is that what it's called? Roll call LLC in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So this is where the people from the office would have gone to get a gun.
So once again, thanks to Angry American, we have a gun shop to review or to take a look at.
Yep, every day we like to take a look at a new shop, and this is pretty cool. This is a YouTube video that he sent in. So I guess we're getting a tour of the shop hosted by I'm guessing either the owner or one of the guys. If we were listening, we'd know. But we're getting a pretty good view of the shop there. Obviously, they have a lot of pistols and pretty good selection of shotguns and rifles and whatnot. I'm liking that the marketing all on the walls, or whatever you want to call it. They're branding all up everywhere, letting people know where they're at.
It even says YouTube channel on the wall there. So that's cool. They're actually into it.
Yeah, there's like their various social media addresses are on the wall. So this is in Pennsylvania, so no issues with gun ownership, obviously. Looks like they got a little bit of everything.
Scranton, home of our ex-vice president.
Oh, I was going to say show the office.
So they have lots of double barrel shotguns.
Oh yeah, look at that. So when you get to turn around and see the rest of the shop, looks like they got quite a bit of floor space there. Boots and stuff.
Got some boots.
Oh, now they got a shoot house they're going to be showing us. So this worked out pretty well. We usually try to remind people that you got a camera whenever you go into a shop. So yeah, this is pretty neat, being able to see all around in here. So obviously they do some sort of, I'm guessing, dry fire in here, because it doesn't really look like shooting targets. And there's no holes in the wall.
House really
could it be airsoft kind of thing though? Maybe, right?
Not sure, because this definitely seems more like a real
simunitions.
Could be.
But having a shoot house distinguishes itself from just about every other gun shop out there. There are very few places that offer that kind of service. I mean, they have a very wide range of services, from traditional range to that shoot house to the clothing. It's just I'm actually pretty. This is probably one of the better shops I think that we've looked at.
Oh.
As far as the variation of services and things they offer.
47 people on their YouTube channel, so highly recommend you go over. Check it out. I'll give you a link.
And send them a message saying you saw them on Daily Gun Show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And some really angry guy sent you over. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I was just looking to see if they had a link to their website on here. And interesting, they do not. Oh, here it is, right here. So there's their website. Got some kind of Ruger on there.
First thing you see is the Ruger American. Come on. I guess they're trying to get Mr. Knives in or something.
Family owned and operated since 2007. So 10 years, specialized in tactical equipment, cops, class 3, Conveniently located off of some place. Spies out your unwanted. Old dust collectors. Estates from 1 to 1,000 guns. Expired police evidence room collections. We pay the highest prices. Looks like they got a pretty big staff too.
Yeah, it's probably to run the range and all that stuff too, huh?
Probably a good point. Yep.
That's pretty cool. That's a nice looking shop.
Yeah. All right. So thanks again to Angry for sending that in. We always appreciate it. We do like to have a new gun shop every day. That's the goal. So thanks for helping us today to reach that. So Gun Channel story time.
Oh, jeez.
What the hell is this King Bob of England? So
I think
we try to talk about one of the things that goes around on gun channels. Does this go around on gun channels?
Never heard of it. I don't think anyone knows what it is.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
I remember it. It was like a really late night chat after quite a few adult beverages. But,
Well, if something is mentioned once, does it qualify for story time?
I don't know. we can wait and see if anybody actually wants to hear the story. That might be better. Let's just leave it out there because I don't really, it's a little foggy for me too.
So Bob's embarrassed of the story. So if you want to hear the story, Bob will tell us. But if you don't, we'll move along. So let's talk about the movie of the day.
All right, what do we got?
Every day we try to talk about a movie, something you might not have seen in a while, something that has to do with guns. If you're young and probably something you ain't seen yet. Today it is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Everybody seen this one?
I have not.
Oh,
And I just want to say I'm going to get going, so you guys have a good show, and thanks everyone for listening out there in the world.
And you better watch
All right,
that
Spag.
sometime soon.
Have a good night. All right. No, I have not seen the show. In fact, I had to look it up because it seems so. And I'm looking at it now. It's like there is nothing familiar about this movie to me at all.
It's a really good movie. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. It's funny as hell. And it's English movie, or it's also got Brad Pitt in it, Brad Pitt in it, who's playing this gypsy character. Just hilarious. But yeah, it's quite. It's got some pretty cool guns in it. It's got a Bren gun. It's got replica guns, AEW 50, like a 50 Desert Eagle. Yeah, it's neat. I don't know why you wouldn't have seen it, Dano. It's a really good movie. I recommend make time to go see it. It's a good movie.
Well, Raphael out on Gun Channel says it's a great heist story.
I don't remember it too much, but it's from England, so I don't get most of it. They say a bunch of stuff that I don't understand. But there was a lot of guns in it for sure. I don't think it was as funny as Bob's making it sound out. But like I say, I probably didn't get most of the English jokes or something.
Oh my God, the dog running around with the jewel in his gut. Oh, and the whole thing with the gypsies that cracks me up, or tinkers.
Well, just to counter Bob, Garan says it was a shoddy movie.
No.
Is it one of those movies where it's like constantly something happening, like almost never slows down? Or am I thinking of something? Okay.
Yeah, kind of. It's one of those English action movies where it flips from thing to thing to thing.
And it's like, it's tough. It's interesting because it's not like your standard, this is going to happen, it's about to happen, it just happened. Like it isn't one of the kinds where it's like the plot's all crazy and you're not expecting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very convoluted. There's like stories going on inside of stories, but it's so entertaining.
All right, so I'm going to give it 1 because of the guns, but I can't give it 2 because I don't remember it enough. But I don't remember hating it, so I'm going to give it 1. Bob's giving it 2. Jano's giving it 1.
Oh, 2. Yeah, 2. Oh, I don't even know what to say. 2 thumbs up all the way. I mean, I'm trying to think of a word that properly describes how much I like this movie, but I don't think any of them would be acceptable on daytime podcast even. So yeah, highly recommend the movie. Two big thumbs up, and yeah, watch it. Make time to watch it. It's that good. One of the few movies I'll say find yourself 2 hours somehow just to watch this movie. It'll make you laugh. Oh, it's funny.
What was that click click?
Had to get a W. It's easy on screen keyboard to get a W. All right, so I think you might want to say you give it double thumbs up.
That's it. Yeah. I'm definitely, it's a DP.
Oh, so,
Double thumb.
yeah. Two countries separated by a common language. I guess so. It's not the language; it's the weird stuff they talk about that makes no sense to us. It's like they're weird inside jokes that are inbred or whatever they are, like from the olden days, I guess.
Inbred? Are you sure that's the word you're looking for?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
They're from England, like we don't know what the hell. Like they're like, hey, 2 chips and a possum or something. It's like, oh, okay, whatever the hell that means.
Inbred is like when your relatives are breeding with your relatives.
two chips and a possum? I'm pretty sure that's never been said in England. But this is a weird thing. This is one thing I noticed about the difference between Canadians and Americans, because we're so much alike in so many ways, but yet when it comes to English humor and English comedy, you guys don't get it, where we kind of, because we had so many English people here, like it's reinforced in us, so we still understand their humor. We still get there. That's why Canadian humor is always a little different than American, and it's a little different than British, and we're kind of a bridge between the two countries.
I don't know about that bridge business, but Second City was pretty good.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Second City Canadian? I thought they were American.
Came on right after Saturday Night Live, which Second City would come on.
But that was from Canada? I thought it was just from a different state in the States.
Well, it's Canadian.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's where the John Candy came from.
John Candy, yeah.
Yep.
Bunch. Michael J. Fox. No, he was not Michael J. Fox. All kinds of people that have been in, standard American comedies. Crap. There's just tons of them that never got super big, but just always worked. Like Eugene Levy is a. So yeah, I mean it's we seem to be able to. Well, I've always said Canadians really they translate between England and America really well, because we grew up in the same kind of country as Americans, but we also grew up with all these British TV shows and stuff. So you could understand. I mean, Upstairs, Downstairs, and Downton Abbey and all that shit. People in Canada just soak that shit up.
That's recent stuff. That's not
back
in the day stuff.
Upstairs, Downstairs, that's not recent. That was like 30 years ago that started. It just went on forever. And then there's that, what the hell's that one?
This discussion seems like it's going on forever. So we were talking about English TV, so that's definitely a time to jump in and go. Let's put on the brakes. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we need a referee to go ahead and call this match dead.
So that'll take us to events, I think. So we can head back to Gun Channels, and I'll screen share, because why not? And we'll go down the main page of Gun Channels, where you'll find right around the chat room area the upcoming events section of the page, and it's a quick way to get everything up through October right now. So we got June 23rd coming up at the end of the month. We've got Salute to Buffalo Soldiers Days down in Tombstone, Arizona. I added a bunch of Tombstone stuff because I like that city. Then we've got on June 24th, same weekend, the Oklahoma Full Auto Shoot and Trade Show, the Fast Shoot, run by our friend Mike Friend, who lives just outside of Tulsa and runs a firing line, making some guns and AKs, and every year has this full auto shoot. There's the Outdoor Retailer Show a little bit early this year in Salt Lake City. And in July 26th, that's very much like SHOT Show, except for sporting goods stores. So there's no guns, and instead you get like boats and bicycles and running shoes and stuff. So it's like it's like the sporting goods stores, but quite a bit of tents and gear and knives, and all the knife companies are there. It's still a pretty decent show. It's very much like SHOT Show, except with a different group of people hanging out. TriggerCon coming up on the same weekend up in, I want to say, somewhere in Washington State, and it sounds like a bunch of people from gun channels might be around joining up there to check it out. It's sort of like the media day from SHOT Show, except in July and in Washington State. In September, we got the Bullpup shoot in Illinois. Trying to talk Dano into going to that. Down in Tombstone in September, you got Territorial Days. And I don't know what that is. I think that's sort of like the old rendezvous type of thing, like back when this was a territory, I guess. Maybe it was like having a state fair or something. I don't know. I should probably find out. Then we got September 30th, the Texas International Firearms Festival, which is in Texas, and Edge usually shows up at that. Also in Dallas. I think that's outside of Dallas. But in Dallas on October 1st, we have the Gun Rights Policy Conference. So that's when all the gun owners rights groups get together. Once a year, they do a sit rep. They let you know what's happening, what they need, what they see the future is holding, and what resources they might need. And pretty interesting event if you can get to it. It was in Florida last year and Dallas this year. That's on October 1st. Highly recommend it. If you're a gun enthusiast or a gun rights enthusiast, you'll appreciate being in a room with that many others like yourself. Then we have October 6th in Ohio, a cartridge show, which is a gun show dedicated to ammunition collectors. And then there's some other stuff coming up beyond that. And we'll be talking about that stuff as it gets closer to those dates. So anyone can go to Gun Channels, head up to Resources, and then Firearms Calendar. All the members then can click on Create Event, and you can add your own event to our list here. So we encourage you to do so. It keeps people aware of the events that are going on out there, the shooting events that you're interested in, that you'd like to see succeed and happen year after year. It also, like I said before, helps underneath the internet, in the workings of the internet. It helps those places out to have links out on sites like Gun Channels, which is a big, thriving, growing website. It's good to have some links coming from that to an event, especially a smaller event that's trying to get that word out. All right, so we try to take a moment from the show each week on Thursdays to feature those. And again, we encourage everyone to participate in the calendar over on Gun Channel so that you'll be part of this segment of the show. Looking over to see if we've got anything coming up in the comments. Looks like Sean Ponnery giving us a word from the YouTube side that he's doing okay, which is good. He was in doing some tests today, medical wise, so it's good to hear that he's doing good. Hopefully we'll see him back tomorrow for the early shows. Talked to Heavy a bit, and not sure when he'll be jumping back on, but we heard that Jimmy might be doing the early watch sooner than later, so that's good to see early stuff in full swing.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm reading the chats, and not too much else. Raphael's talking about fish and chips, which is one good thing England did, I guess, making fried fish. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I say that, but I don't know if I've ever ate actual England fried fish. Do they do it all weird or wrong? Like there's skin on there or head in there or something gross? Like a fin in there?
No, it's just fish bits, and then you get French fries and a rolled up newspaper cone, or it used to be newspaper.
Did you say fish bits?
Well, you know, like pieces of fish.
You're not allowed to say tactical tips, but he can say fish bits all he wants.
Yep.
What's wrong with saying fish bits?
Double
like,
standard bullshit.
They're like fish
Freaking
sticks,
neat.
but and then they're pieces of fish that have been deep fried, and they're good.
If they're
And the French fries are good.
If they're similar,
They always put lots of salt on the French fries.
If they're similar or better than Long John Silver's, then I'll be okay with that, as long as you don't put that goofy vinegar on there, which has no business being around.
No, well, you can put vinegar on if you want. I personally would, or squeeze a lemon on it. That's also good. But yeah, I don't think they give you mayonnaise for your French fries though.
Good.
So,
I haven't eaten mayonnaise since I was a little kid, and other people wiped crap on my food, so I wouldn't eat that.
Mayonnaise. Why don't you just stop your heart right now?
oh please, I mix it in with my fish all the time. It's good.
And that might explain a few things.
How many
yeah.
people heart attack? With every 100 mayonnaise lids, you get a free bypass.
Yeah.
You get for free here in Canada anyway, so what does it matter, man?
All right, eat what you want. That's right. There you go. Canadian healthcare. What does it matter?
Hey,
Sums it all up. That's the motto. Canadian healthcare. Do what you want. We're paying for it.
explodes, you just get
Exactly.
paid. Well,
What you
you've been
want.
paying them taxes all these years. You might as well get your damn money back.
Yeah.
They're
all
just
right.
looking at, we have millions and millions of square miles of unused land. I know we'll put our citizens there about 6 feet under. Then we can make use of all that land.
Oh, please.
All right. I don't know where Dan was going with that either. So
Yeah.
I think
We'll feed them just mayonnaise on their French fries.
feels like it's all gone weird after this
Do that, right? That's something I've seen Americans do. Nobody in Canada does that.
Yeah, I can't control all these guys anymore. Smeggy left. So
Getting
Like,
back to guns.
We
How
How
put
about a gun of the day?
gravy and cheese curds. That's all we put on our
Okay.
French fries. Then
Let's go to guns. Gun of the day. What do we got? We
Let's
have
try.
a Kimber.
I'm gonna try to squeeze the gun of the day in here. So I'm gonna go do that stretch thing again. Hold on.
All right. See if I can get this going here.
Are you getting?
he's going to run the Kimber video, I think. Aren't you, Dano?
I'm going to try to.
Yeah. Because that's what we're looking at today. It's Kimber Week. Wonderful guns. Some of the best 45.
14 rounds in there.
Yeah, 14 rounds and for a Kimber 10 II.
So this is a polymer frame.
Yeah, Polymer
Double
frame,
stack.
double stack.
What do you
There
do?
we go. Got that nice perspective going on?
Yeah, it's 6 You got a video playing?
Yeah. Is it not sharing?
I don't want to share it with the shitty
Why don't they
perspective. That's why I'm fixing it.
It just wasn't as
Yeah, you have to click on my picture for.
as some of their other
No,
models.
I'm going to mute you and not click on your picture. I'm fixing that ratio
Less than a Glock in my hand.
over here.
His grip.
I think he means you should stop
I
playing
don't
it
have one here to
now
compare it to,
so it
but
looks better when we play it.
Yeah, I've said it a few times. He refuses to. So I'm going to continue fixing this. And now we can jump back over to the video and watch it good. So this is the Kimber 10 II. This is a polymer Kimber, Bob. What do you think of that?
Well, if it's a Kimber, I suppose I could try it. Although I would be hoping they would make one out of scandium or something.
Yeah, Scandium in a 45?
Yeah.
I think that would break it, wouldn't it? Is that too brittle
Well,
for
a little thicker, that's all.
Yeah.
You know.
thicker gun? Then it's supposed to, Scandium is to make it lighter. I don't want it thicker, then it'd be the same weight. Anyway, this thing was a polymer gun. It was not good. Had bad reviews when it came out. I didn't care for it too much. It's really weird holding a 1911 with a polymer lower on it. And I think it might be a double stack. So that
Yeah, it's a double stack.
weird. So I don't know what they were thinking, and I don't think it was very popular. And we'll see in the magazine there. Did he load the magazine? If it was a double stack or not? Yeah, it's a double stack. Look at how wide that.
He said it was a double stack right at the start. I remember
Oh,
that.
okay. So we just had it out there. It's a friend of ours that owns it, and I think is that what it was. And then we shot it a little bit. It's a big gun, but I don't like it. I definitely do not like having that big of a gun be a single action.
That's weird. 'Cause
Do you recall whether you were shooting full power loads or not?
No. I don't know why we would be shooting. What do you mean full power loads? It's 45. So
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the 10.
no. It's a 10 the number 10, but it's not a 10 millimeter. It's a 45.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's a 45. I'm almost positive it's just a 45. It's just that it holds 10 rounds because it's a double stack, and it's polymer, and it's their second one. So I don't know if they came up with a 10 rounder first. Anyway, it's just definitely weird holding such a big polymer gun. It's just, it's odd.
Now, is this the only double stack that competes with Paraordnance in regards to being a double stack?
No, and this doesn't compete with anything. This was just made for a few years, I think, and is gone. I don't think they made this very long.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't very popular, I guess. So, yeah. I mean, I would still take one if they gave me one, but
I don't think you would.
It's a plastic gun. No wonder it's no good.
No, you would hate it, and it's so wrong having it in a 1911 that it just doesn't feel right. With a Glock or whatever, you know, it's all ergonomic and weird, so you're like, okay. But when it's the Spice, yeah, it just feels wrong in a 1911. So, we're never getting sponsored by Kimber. That's the Kimber 10 II Polymer. That's our gun of the day. Every day we try to talk about a new gun, and this week I think we're just doing Kimbers from one of my playlists over on YouTube. So over the years we've played with plenty of Kimbers. I want to like them more than I can because I can't like them that much. Getting a lot of talk about the French or the food and the other Canadian food. More talk about the Canadian food over on gun channels. I think we may have gotten everybody into dinner mode here. So with that, I think we might look at our schedule and see if we missed anything. I don't think we did. So I think we might be at the end of episode 329. Looks like, oh, let's take a quick look at gun history. Anything happened today in gun history that you guys know about? Attila Hun invades Italy. 452. Attila the Hun invades Italy. I didn't know that.
In World War One, they set off those deep underground mines for the first time underneath the trenches and killed like something like 10,000 Germans.
Yep. In 1861, Tennessee votes to secede from the Union and join the Confederacy.
The beginning of the end of states' rights.
Well,
In 1953, the Supreme Court forbid segregated lunch counters in Washington, D.C. In 1965, today in 1965, Johnson authorized commanders in Vietnam to commit U.S. ground forces to combat. 1966, 1 year later, Gemini astronaut Gene Cernan attempts to become the first man to orbit the Earth untethered to a space capsule, but is unable to when he exhausts himself fitting into his rocket pack. Interesting. And the other interesting thing, if you don't already know, my grandma's friend or aunt, I forget, babysitted Gene Cernan when he was a little kid. So my grandparents knew him when he was a baby. And I have a patch that's been on the moon. He had it in his pocket, and they gave it to my grandpa, and now I have it. I always like to talk about that whenever I see his name come up.
It's pretty cool.
James Earl Ray, whatever, assassin, blah blah blah. Looks like a bunch of other stuff, but nothing all that great for us. Frank Lloyd Wright was born today, the architect. Not really a gun thing.
I never really liked his stuff.
Do not like his stuff?
Oh, I never really liked it. No, it was kind of all artsy.
Yep. So,
Well, there's utilitarian and there's artsy.
well, it was definitely weird and artsy, but it shook things up, right? I think that was the point.
Yep.
With people from their status quo. I think one other thing I wanted to talk about today is just to urge everybody who is our Patreon supporters. We will be here Saturday doing the Patreon, what do we call it, the scheduling show on Saturday at our old show time. That would be 3 Pacific. No, it would be 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. And we'll be on for a while, however long it takes us to gather topics for the next 30 days or so of the show schedule. And we also want to thank everybody who's supporting us on Patreon. Looks like I said before, we had a little bit of shuffling over there, but overall we do get growing support, and we do very much appreciate that. This last month we actually brought in more money than it actually says over there. So again, thanks to the people who have, I guess, pledged more than what the pledge level is they're at, and that's allowing us to do some of the other things. And you might notice we've changed some things around on the show. We can't afford to have Smeggy here for the whole show anymore, so we're cutting back on his hours, and we're going to use that money for continuing to move forward with other projects and stuff. But what we really would like is the people who are Patreon supporters to remember that we are trying to use the Patreon platform as a way to encourage more people to listen to the show. So if you would do us the additional favor, we know most of you already go to YouTube and gun channels and other places and click thumbs up for us. If you would go to Patreon and answer some of the posts that we put up there with a text or with a comment, maybe just something quick, or interact with us there if you have a specific question about the show, or if you'd like to see us go in a different direction or something, use the comments there as well as the emails and stuff, especially when it's appropriate for a public type of forum like that. All those instances of comments and thumbs up and likes, I guess it's hearts over there, all of those indicate to Patreon that we have an active channel. And when it comes time for Patreon to recommend us to somebody else, some of the other people that are out there listening to gun related stuff, we want them to, have as great an impression of us as they can, so that Patreon, offers us as a suggestion as often as possible. So we appreciate everybody that's over on Patreon, because that means you're financially helping the show, and there's really no more intimate way of saying that you're a fan of the show than to fork over money. And we do appreciate it, and we're going to ask that additional favor that when you're over there checking it out, that you wouldn't that you remember to click those hearts and stuff, because that really does help us out when we're trying to grow like we are right now. But with that, I think we're done with 329. Unless you guys want to add anything else, we'll be back for 330. We'll be talking about boat guns, professional gunsmithing, and all the other stuff we talk about.
We do want to hit the Kickstarter program. I don't have the link handy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kick Gun Channels tonight. I'll grab that link.
But yeah, while you're looking for that link, if you're into old Western style guns, and if you don't already are aware of it, and I'm sure you are, but just in case, G-Webs is putting together a deck of cards that you can support him over a Kickstarter program, which has a series of different long guns, from shotguns to rifles to pistols to derringers to palm pistols, just about everything you can think of. Of course, we're limited to the number of firearms by the number of cards that are typically in a deck. But the program is a go forward, and it is being able to be made in the United States, which is a great thing. But certainly the more the merrier to drive down the cost of making this happen, and certainly helps promote things in general in the future. So
Going to be made in Texas. Texas.
What's that about?
Not just America, in Texas. They're going to make the decks are going to be made in Texas. Not just America, but in Texas. I think that's kind of cool.
Really? Said it enough time.
I know, but it's Texas. It's such a big state. You have to say it like 19 times in a sentence.
But if you're into guns, whether it's killing time at the doctor's office or whatever it is, you happen to find yourself, 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you got nothing to do. I think it's kind of neat having something like that just to kill a little time, flip through, or if you're obviously an active card player as well. But I just view it as kind of a cool thing to kind of go through, look at the different stats, because I'm aware of a number of the different ones, but I don't necessarily have the specifications committed to memory or everything like that. And I think it's just kind of cool in general. So you should certainly consider supporting the Kickstarter program for the Western deck of cards. I forget what the official name is, and I'll let G take care of that.
Old West Guns playing card deck. So yeah, thanks for that. And it is kind of fun to hold them. They're better than flash cards because they're smaller, right? Playing cards are kind of figured out. They made them the right size for everybody's hands. So they're real easy to manipulate for just browsing through them. But yeah, we're really happy that the thing's going so well. It's going so well. In fact, we've hit 2 of those stretch goals. So we already, when you do the math for something like this, you figure out how much it might cost to get some made. And then you start from there. And then the more you make, the cheaper the cost per item is. So at some point, people are paying more, quite a bit more than they need to, because the costs have gone down so much. So you create a stretch goal, an additional item that they'll get when that situation happens. And we've got to the point where we added a stretch goal for the stickers. So we're going to do a set of stickers that are basically the art off the back of the cards, and you can put that in a toolbox or gun case or whatever you might want to, and then or give that to a kid, I guess. And then the other thing would be a PVC patch. And I'll be right back. Hello?
And while he's taking care of business over there, I'm just going to do a quick review of what we have coming up tomorrow.
I thought we were going to do gun channels tonight and the quote.
Well, I'm not ending the show. I'm just filling in some time here.
Okay.
Tomorrow, Friday, we have alternate gun topics, which is going to be boat guns. And then under our gun business section, we have becoming a professional gunsmith and what that entails. Of course, we always have our regular segments on that we have every day. Some intermittently as they kind of fit in. As well as another gun store sent in by Rick, The World as I See It. So thanks, Rick, again. And again, if you have a gun store that you would like to put up there, or whether it's questions for the pop quiz or anything else in regards to the show, feel free to email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. In the subject line, put whether it's the gun shop, pop quiz, or whatever it is you want to address, and then your message down below, because we really do appreciate it. And obviously, we do use them in the show and take them to heart. So it's greatly appreciated. And as I mentioned, that's what's coming up tomorrow, Friday, on dailygunshow.com.
So Rick,
So what else did you have there, Bob?
John wanted us to say the Patreon thing for some reason, so it's patreon.com/dailygunshow. So it is pretty easy to find. Just when you go to Patreon, either type in /dailygunshow, all one word, or just type in Daily Gun Show in its search and you'll find us. So if you don't have the link, if you're listening or something, then you can get to us fairly easily. Tonight, we don't know if we talked about it. It'll be Tack Daddy's last show on Thursday for a while. I know he's taking a 2-week break, and I'm not sure if he'll be doing a show on Thursdays anymore after that. He might be moving the day or maybe change the name of the show or something. So this is his last show. He said it's going to be a blowout, so might want to check that out. On Thursdays, whenever Yankee doesn't do a show with me and Matt, Matt does his own show. So I don't know, it might have already started, but somewhere tonight Matt will be doing a show where he just is by himself and does Q&A with his audience. And then Yankee does a similar show he used to on Thursdays. I don't know if he's still doing that every other Thursday or not. And I was thinking about doing an AK-47 podcast, but I'm just as interested in doing another van chat. So anybody that might be interested, I don't know, Bob, are you available tonight to chat?
Yeah, actually, I think I will be.
So give us some insight either in the text chats or in the lobby chat over on Gun Channels, which Pink just started up. If you want to, would you rather listen to an AK chat or a van chat? And then Bob and I will get together in a little bit and we'll figure out what we're going to do. And I don't know if you already talked about our show tomorrow, but if you talked about the other stuff that's on tomorrow.
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Well, we did. Dano, you talked all about it.
You talked about our show, but did you talk about the early watch that stuff?
Oh,
So,
okay. No, I misunderstood.
It sounds like Sean Ponnery is still alive, so maybe he'll give us some insight how his test went. Hopefully he's still kicking, and maybe he's got a robot heart. We don't know. So we'll see what's going on in the morning. Usually there's some kind of a long format show. In the early day over on Gun Channels, we'll be back here at 7. Don't think Heavy will be doing anything. He did his show early yesterday instead of after us tomorrow, or even before us tomorrow. Right. He was doing. Remember, he's in a different. Well, no, he's not in a different time zone yet. But anyway, then there's Edge of the Week is on after everybody else on Fridays in the evenings. Oh, and then we've got a show, of course, tomorrow. So, or I guess, wait, today's Thursday. What am I saying? Saturday stuff.
Yes, today's Thursday. We'll cover the weekend in tomorrow's show.
You're right. Okay. We got one vote for Thursday K.
What's Thursday K?
Thursday AK.
I'm thinking he means AK. Forget
Oh.
the chat.
Thursday AK.
Prefers. Oh, he's probably saying prefers.
Oh, THURSD instead of AYAK.
Ah,
No.
very clever,
Show on tonight.
Clarice.
All right, with all that, we'll be back tomorrow. We hope you had a good time. If you're enjoying the show, let us know with all the different ways we suggest, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. So, Dano, unless you've got something new.
Take it away, sir.
All right. Oh, wow. I did the right thing. I thought before I spoke. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching and listening. But before that, I want to remind everybody, hit that like button. Subscribe. Share us. We want to be shared with all the people we can. On that, I'm going to end this with a quote by Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King? MLK? Yeah, I think that's what it is. But I'm not American, so I don't know. We don't even have a day off here for that. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. So on that cheery thought, I'd like to thank everybody for watching and listening. We'll see you all tomorrow.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.